So my name is Elijah Cohn, I'm team captain of Bikesinogens, not Carcinogens, and I am the family member of someone with a rare cancer. And I'm here to talk about how cancer affects families and why this event is so important to me. And my story is very personal, so bear with me because I may get choked up, but I think that a lot of you will also find it very familiar. My mom was diagnosed with cancer in 2012. She had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma of the central nervous system in her brain and in her eyes, which I always thought sounded like a particularly bad place to get cancer, and they are. And one of the side effects was that first tumor in my mom's brain caused her to lose control of the left side of her body, and she couldn't use her left hand, and she lost her ability to walk. And I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for this physical side effect. I wasn't ready for the cancer at all. I was 21 years old. I was in college. My dad had kind of like downplayed what was happening until they knew. And I remember he called me and he told me that it was cancer, and it was actually quite serious, and they would need to start treatment right away. And I hung up the phone. I just kind of like sat there in stunned silence until I said out loud to myself, like, I just wish this had come at a more convenient time. And then I just started laughing. I started laughing because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know how to act in that situation. And also I thought it was just kind of like an absurd thing to say, right, when I said it, like, when would there ever be a convenient time for this? And so when my mom was first getting treated, we lived in North Carolina, and the hospital was over an hour away from our house. That's hard. Going to a hospital is hard. Traveling to get there is hard. And I think a lot of people in this room know there is no worse feeling in the world than sitting in a hospital room day after day with a sense of helplessness, watching somebody that you love suffer. I would say also that my mom would say that the chemo is worse, but I just want to acknowledge that for the survivors and the patients in the room. So when we were finally able to bring my mom home after about 6 weeks, there was a sign on our door that said, "We are not taking visitors right now." And there was a picture of a family friend holding a shotgun to really drive that point home, because it's North Carolina. But we really appreciated it because my dad, my sister, and I, and of course my mom, we were shell-shocked and we were exhausted. And I don't know what we would have said to anyone, but there's also something that I didn't expect, which was in our driveway, there's this blue cooler, like a blue Playmate cooler. And inside of that cooler, someone had left us this homemade dinner, and it was like, you could tell that they had put some effort into it. It was really nice, and it's an important gesture because when you're dealing with cancer as a family, some basic things like meals can be missed. So we took it inside, we had dinner, and the next day we left it outside. We went about our business, going to physical therapy, occupational therapy, doctor follow-ups, whatever the hell it was that day. And when we came back, that night, the blue cooler was still sitting there in our driveway. And someone else had made us homemade dinner. And the next night, someone else made us a homemade dinner. And the next night, someone else. And we never saw anyone. That blue cooler was just this constant sitting in our driveway. And the next night, someone else made us dinner. The next night, someone else. And the next night, someone else. And every night for over a month, we had these homemade dinners that people made for us. And listen, for me, it was like this, it was a huge deal. My entire world had just been turned upside down. And I was at probably my lowest point. I felt so alone, and I felt so helpless. And it's just a blue cooler sitting in the driveway. But at that point, I just really needed to know that somebody cared. And I don't know if it like hit me in that moment, but that really powered me. And we had a long fight ahead of us. And so my mom's initial treatment in North Carolina was just triage. And we did some research, and my mom found this place called Sloan Kettering, which was one of the only places in the country that dealt with this particular kind of cancer. And after like 5 years of really hard treatments, including some very painful injections directly into her eyeballs and an immune system transplant, I'm very happy to share with you all that my mom has been in remission for over 3 years. She's turning 60 in April. She's 54 years old. It's incredible. And it's possible because of the research that we're funding in this room today. But I also want to say that when I look around this room and when I do this event, I see and I feel the same sense of love and community that I felt looking at that blue cooler in my driveway in North Carolina all those years ago. And I also know that there are people out there right now whose entire lives have just been turned upside down, who are at their lowest, who are feeling alone, who are feeling helpless, who just need to know that someone cares. And that's why I ride. That's why I do this event, and that's why from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all of you for doing this event.